Hello Python here and welcome to your 16th Python tutorial. In the last video we looked at dictionaries. In this video we are looking at Python sets. Sets in Python are used to store multiple or a collection of data in a single variable. They belong to the built-in set type in Python. Sets are unordered, and this is a very interesting behavior of a set. It will change the position of its item. It will reshuffle itself anytime you call upon it. Okay, so they are not very good for working with specific indexes like slicing and then all that. And they are unchangeable. Unchangeable means you can't change the values. Okay, you can't change the values, but you can update and then you can add, you can remove from them. And they do not allow duplicates. So whenever you have a duplicated item in set, they are going to it's going to stick to only one and then ignore all the other duplicated values. How do you create a set? You create a set using a curly bracket. Okay, a curly bracket, and the set items are placed in the bracket separated by commas. Let's switch over to our code and then see an example. So to make things to speed up, okay, I have created two different sets. So one is for programming languages. We have Python, JavaScript, CSS, HTML, SAS, and then XML. And then we also have scripting languages. Okay, so where we have JavaScript, PHP, Python, and then Ruby. Okay, so notice that I have a curly bracket. Okay, and then I place the items separated by a comma. Then you can also have an empty set, okay, which is basically a set without any items in them. Okay, in them. So like I said, I mean, accessing the index. Okay, so I'm going to try to access an index. Okay, so let's say I want to access the first item, okay, in programming. Okay, so let's say I say programming, sorry. Okay, and let's say I want the first index. Okay, then I'll go ahead and then print. Okay, so let's see what we get. Okay, so now notice that we get an error. Okay, now as I told you, sets do not have an order. Okay, because you do not have an order, you can't specify items in a set using its index. Neither can you do things like slicing and then all that. Okay, so the only way you can list the items in a set is by using a for loop, which we'll look later in the video. Okay, so just know that in sets are unordered. Okay, so the reason why when I try to unordered, so the reason why when I try to access the index, it gives me an error saying that set object it's not subscribable. Okay, so great. Now we can add to a set. Okay, so let me switch over to my slide. Now there are some modification you can do to a set. Now a set will not allow any of the elements to be changed after it has been created, and I have said that. However, you can add to, update, or remove its content. So let's say I want to add to my programming language. Okay, so I will say programming, okay, dots, and then I say add. Okay, so what element am I adding? I want to add XHTML. Okay, HTML. Okay, and so when I print programming, okay, so let's see what I get. Okay, now notice that I have XHTML added to my set, and notice what happens. So you can see that the items of my programming set has changed. Okay, so they keep They are the same items there, okay, with Python added, but it has changed, okay, with HTML added, okay, but it has changed. Now, for the steps not allowing duplicates, okay, I would attempt to add R again, okay, so I'll add R, and then let me run, okay. So notice clearly we have R1 and another R2, but just notice that you have only one R here and no other R. We just have only one R here and no other R. Okay, so that explains it when I say that sets do not allow duplicates. Great. So apart from adding, we can also update our sets. Okay, and typically you want to use the update when you want to update it with a different set. Okay, you want to update it with a different set. Okay, so let's say I'm going to have in between, I'm going to have just a web programming. Okay, and or let me say database programming. Okay, so database programming, and then I would have maybe I have SQL. Okay, SQL, and then I'll have no SQL. Okay, so two programming language, SQL and then no SQL. Good. So I want to update programming with the database. Okay, so how do I go about it? I can simply say programming dots. Okay, and then notice that we have update. Okay, so I want to update it with database. Okay, so I'm going to copy that and then I'll paste it. Okay, then I'll just try to label it. I'll just say updated maybe with database. Okay, then let's see what I get. Okay, so now when I run updated with database, and then notice that we have no SQL and then SQL added. Yes, without an order. Okay, without an order. Great. So let me comment this out. Let me comment. Good. So now, well, let's, instead of using updates, yeah, so cool. Okay, so cool. Yeah, so good. So now we can also, now let's just say this is a tuple. Okay, this is a tuple. Okay, if this is a tuple, will it still work? This is a list, sorry, will it still work? Okay, so now it will still work. Okay, so now this whole idea of updating a list, okay, you can update it even with a list, a tuple, and so on. Good. So now I'll comment this out once again, and then let's just say, let's try and do something like removing, okay, taking out a data. Okay, so I want to remove SAS, okay, from my programming. So how do I go about it? Okay, so I'll just say programming. So I'll just say remove. Okay. So programming, okay, and let's say I want to say programming dot remove. Okay, and I want to remove SAS. Okay, and then once I do that, then I would print programming again, and I can see the effect. Good. So let me run this. So before that, let me print programming and then before and then after. Okay, so I'll just say before here. Okay, I'll just say before, and then I'll just say over here, I'll just say after. So before removing SAS and then after removing SAS. Okay, so now let me run it. Now before removing SAS, okay, we had SAS. And then after removing SAS, notice that we don't have SAS here. Okay, so you can do that. Okay, so what if I want to use discard? Okay, so let's remove and then discard. Okay, so maybe I want to still discuss SAS. Okay, so instead of remove, I'll just say discard. Okay, and then when I run that, discard. So discard. Okay, and then I'll run, and then notice that we had SAS and then SAS gone. So you can either remove, just that when the remove item is not there, it throws an error, but when the discard, the item you want to discuss is not there, it won't throw error. Then I can also clear and then delete. Okay, so I'll clear. I can clear and delete. Okay, just as I did. Okay, so now I won't go into clear and delete, but I just know that. Okay, so let me just say programming. Okay, dot clear. Okay, now programming dot clear clears the items. Okay, clears the list. I mean the set, and it will clear the sets and give you an empty. Okay, an empty set, and then delete. Okay, programming on the other hand is going to delete everything entirely. Okay, so when you call it after deleting, it's going to throw an error. Okay, so just go ahead and try that one. If you've been following the tutorials, you should know the difference between clear and then. Okay, so just try that out and then you see the results. Okay, so because I want to move on to very important examples in sets. Now I can join a set together. Okay, so I want to join programming with database with join database to program, and we've already look at the update. Okay, apart from the update, you could also use a union. So maybe I'll do it under, okay, let me just say union. Okay, maybe union. Now I can basically say programming dot, okay, and then I can say union, and then I want to unite it with, let me say, scripting. Okay, good. So that when I print programming now, okay, so so you have okay guys, so I had to do that and then create a variable and then store the results of the union in it. So I created a variable called languages, and then I'll say programming.union scripting, and then when I print languages, it unites the two. Okay, now PHP, R, Ruby, Python, XML, Perl, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Now what you should know is that you are going to have duplicates like Python. It just keeps to one. Okay, so it joins the two and then stick to one when you have one or two or more occurrences of the same item. So it joins them and it removes duplicates. Okay, so basically it excludes duplicates. Okay guys, so I'll pause here at this point so that the video does not become long. I'll see you in the next video where we'll look into set operations. So we'll look at how to do intersections of sets, difference, symmetric difference, and so on. And you will love it. Bye.